Hello, welcome to the next episode of Late Friday Night's Banter Blitz. It was really hard week for me, so I guess my main task today is just to play decent chess because it will be extremely hard, believe me. Still, there are some good news. Jan Gustafsson actually came up with a new video series dedicated to the Italian game from Black's perspective, so I'm kind of biased because, I just play this myself, so I guess it is just a great addition to a great library of different video series on Chess24. And what is really cool for premium users, all these video series are accessible for free. So if you want to get the access to a variety of instructive video series on different aspects of chess, just go premium and don't forget about this important thing. So you can do this with a nice 15% off. Okay, using the code. Stream is good, says Lali. That is very important because my previous training Tuesday was just a complete hell. Not for each and everybody, by the way, but still many viewers experienced some very nasty technical problems. All right, I do hope that today everything will be more or less fine. So, here we go. Just as usual, I will try to find the guys I've never played before. I will play 3 games against newcomers to the show, and then we'll come back to the normal order of challenges. So, let's see. Let's see if we have somebody. I do believe that we do. I mean, the guy I've never played before. It becomes harder and harder to find the one. But here is Lali, by the way. We've never played before. At least according to the history of our encounters. So, 5 minutes for it is accept. The first game starts. And I'm playing with white pieces, right? Let's go. So e4. And e5. So what's that? Most likely Ruy Lopez, right? Right. Which line? Exchanged one. My favorite choice for Blitz games. Because I can play a lot of moves more or less fast. So bishop d6, alright, one of possible moves. Let's take with the queen attacking g7. Bishop h2 is nothing because I take with the king, of course. Okay, so now, what about just h3? Preventing bishop g4. Knight to e7, alright. Now I think I can play queen c4, stopping black from castling short. Is it something I want to do, or maybe it's better for me just to play something like knight d2, knight c4? I guess, well, there are options. Rook d1 is also a move, I guess. So now if castles, I can even consider something like bishop f4. Using the fact that the bishop on d6 will be pinned. Knight g6 prevents that. And unfortunately I can't play queen c4 because bishop h2 and my rook on d1 is hanging. Slightly annoying thing. Okay, but I can do something else. So I can probably develop my bishop. I can play knight d2 followed by knight c4. I think I will do exactly this, so I'll just play knight d2 with the idea of knight c4. Queen e7. Okay, so knight c4 is possible. And now the question is where to go. I think queen to c3 is a move. I just don't want to stay on the d file. For some reasons, looks not very comfortable. On the other hand, what to do next? Just bishop to e3? Yeah, looks playable. And bishop b4. All right. So queen to b3 runs into bishop e6. Pinning my knight. Where after I can play knight d4, attacking that bishop. If bishop goes to f7, I can consider something like knight f5, I guess. But then queen takes c4, attacking my knight on c4. This is not very pleasant, honestly. So maybe it's better for me just to play queen d3, protecting e4. Then do something with that bishop, maybe to play a3 or something. And only then to think of the next stage. Okay, so let's put the queen on d3. It's possible. b5, okay. This looks interesting option, but I think that it weakens a lot. So can I just play a3 here? Where the bishop goes? Probably to c5 or something, and then I can play knight to a5. The point is that if I play a3 and bc4, I can take queen c4 check and take on b4. I hope I don't blunder anything, so let's attack the bishop. So I guess b5 is just too much. Bishop c5, alright. And now I think knight to a5 should be just the best move. Attacking c6, simply. And at very first glance, it's not clear to me how black is going to protect it, because almost everything looks very passive. Alright, this exchange is good for me, because I have slightly better pawn structure. Well, after b5, definitely a better one. And the fact that black no longer has pair of bishops is very good. But here's the question, what to do now? So there is a chance just to attack this pawn once again, like queen c3. Queen takes c4 is now possible because of rook d7. I can also consider simply doubling rooks along the d file. That is also something very, very attractive at first glance. If I play queen c3, there is c5, I think. So maybe it makes sense for me even to play b4. Maybe right now, maybe at some point later. Maybe just knight b7, knight c5, also an interesting move. Yeah, you know, I will do exactly this. So I'll play knight b7 and knight to c5. It is a good outpost after all. And Fuchs says time, Andrey. That's true, only 1 minute. So it looks like I outplayed my opponent, but it's a big question if I will have enough time to convert this advantage, because now I'm in a time trouble. So let's try to come up with natural moves. So now my knights are very good, both of them. I also managed to fix black's pawns on the queen side, so now I have just a majority on the other side of the board. Looks very cool. Alright. I guess it's okay. To attack the knight this way. Now what? To put the queen here, maybe? Just active square, knight from c5 protects c4. So I have knight f5 idea, knight e6 at some point. Okay. Let us deal with this way. Not very clear if that was necessary in general, but alright. I have no time to evaluate everything correctly, I guess. So let's simply play. Yeah, I just misplayed it. Could have played that much better. No idea what to do here. I'm just losing on time, I think. Alright. Oops. That was unnecessary. Ah! Crap. Just the last pawn. I was about to eliminate it, but, well, was really short of time. Really short of time. So, somewhere here, I guess position was already much, much better. So, after knight c5, this b4, it was a clear advantage for white, but I somehow started misplaying it. Probably, instead of playing f4, I should have played this immediate queen g3, because actually f4 doesn't help me a lot. So after queen g3, if black, let's say, plays the same knight c4, I can bring my rook here on a7 with a very nice target. So the pawn on c7. At the same time with these targets on g7, e6 square, and so on. So immediate queen g3 was much better, with a clear advantage. Because look, just compare the power of my pieces and black's pieces, especially this bishop. It has no perspectives at all. The pawn structure. Oh, I have a feeling that I missed capturing on c6 at some point. Let's have a look. f4, here, queen g3. Yeah, just here. Oh my god. It was possible just to grab the pawn on c6. Oh, that was a big blunder. There was a big blunder. Actually performed by both players. Just amazing. So black blundered a lot and I didn't take it. Oh my gosh. By the way, it was possible to do like here as well. So I just played this stupid knight e6 move instead of playing this. Again, knight c6. Just winning the game already. I guess at that point I had enough time to convert it. Alright, so I had something like 40 seconds. I guess this is so great advantage that, well, it's not a problem. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, I have to be faster. Alright, thanks for the game. Thanks for the game. Your mistake was, of course, to play b5. I think you should have avoided playing b5. Okay, let's see, what do we have? What do we have in the sense of newcomers? Okay. One more, accept. That was a very strange game. I was actually just too slow, I think. Very, very slow. Maybe that was just because I didn't see much activity in live chat. Did you guys have also a very hard week, or what happened? I mean, You're so silent. A6, Ruy Lopez. Bishop A4, knight F6. But you're sounding more relaxed than last week, Andrey, says X. Yeah, I'm pretending everything is fine. In fact, well, it's not that great. Or maybe the fact that I'm really tired makes me kind of relaxed. Because what can I do after all? Okay, A4 immediately. Playable move, of course. So let's protect the rook A8. So now white has to protect D5, I guess. Sorry, to protect E4 prior to moving the knight to F1, because my knight C6 is already protected. So if, say, knight goes to F1, it should take on D4. And then can take on E4. D5 is another option to actually get the same goal. Knight A5 or knight E7, what is better? I think knight E7 is slightly more solid, because after knight A5, bishop C2, there is a possibility to play B4, attacking my knight. On the other hand, knight to E7 looks kind of slightly passive. On the other hand, I don't think it is a big deal, because I can reactivate my pieces quickly after that. Something interesting happened in live chat, but I just missed that. Alright. Never mind, let's focus on the game. Now I have two options: to take with the bishop, attacking E4, but that is probably not that dangerous for white, or taking with the knight, intending to play bishop E6 at some point, or maybe just knight A5, knight C4. I like this option of taking with the knight. D6 is protected by bishop F8. Knight to E3 is not possible right now because I just take on E4. So everything is more or less under control. And knight G3 goes away from D5 square, which became weakened. And I guess it's just a portion of good news for me. Alright, let's try this knight A5. I want to do something with this bishop B3. It is kind of very active and very annoying at the same time. Now I guess bishop to E6 should be a good move to control that A2 G8 diagonal and slightly improving my bishop position. And now we have something very similar to Sicilian. To neither, for example, of course white's pieces are placed differently, but the pawn structure is very, very similar. So that means I have to utilize C4 square. I have to play along the C file in general. I have to try some sort of minority attack based on B4. And I have to prepare this D6, D5 advance gradually. If I subscribe with the promotion code monthly, will I get the discount every month? No. This discount is only for one payment, so the best way to benefit from it is to buy the yearly subscription. So if you will buy the monthly subscription, actually, you will get the discount only once. So the next month will be back to the normal price. All right. So knight to d2 is played. Slightly passive move, honestly, but this covers c4 square. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, there is also the idea of playing knight f1, knight e3, so... Alright, let's bring the rook to the c file. I think that is the correct place. And if knight goes to f1, I think I can bring my knight to c4. After bishop d3, it is also a playable option. Let's try it. Although, I guess queen b6 was slightly better, intending to play b4. Yeah, most likely I'm just missing my chances. On the other hand, I can see that now I can try something like d5 even, because I have a better development, so probably I can afford doing it. Let's try it. With the knight or with the bishop? I guess with the bishop. Yeah, looks fine. Looks fine. I can still try this b5, b4 at some point, because now my bishop f8 kind of supports this advance, but my knight on c4 is obviously heading, so maybe after this move I can play b4. Does it make sense or not? I'm not that sure. But what about simplification? Just a slight simplification. Now, for instance, just g6 covering f5 and preparing bishop to g7. Then at some point f5 and so on. Now, looks interesting, in my opinion. Queen b7. Now just f5 or not? Looks good. Bishop e3 is prevented, by the way. Right, this is risky, because I can take this way and just take on e1. It's just a huge blunder. That was just a huge blunder. Okay, was lucky. Was lucky. One more. Come on, my friend. You kinda very generous. Maybe because it is almost a Christmas time. So by the way, after e takes f4, rook takes c8 doesn't help, because in this case, I take with the knight, and I have two threats, to take the knight on g3 and to play bishop to c5 check and take the rook. And if rook takes here, I just play king f7 and it's over. So, I mean, I win some material here, inevitably. So f4 was just too much. I think position was almost equal. Of course, slightly more pleasant to play with black, because I have more space, better developed pieces. This bishop on c1 looks very passive. There is a constant threat of playing f4 once the bishop goes to e3, let's say. So it's not clear how to complete a development, first and foremost. Probably something like knight to f1 or knight to e2 was interesting here. But in general, I don't like the position of this rook as well. Not sure. So there is a lack of coordination, in my opinion, in White's camp. That is the main reason why it went not that great. Let's come back to the opening stage. I think White missed a good way of playing it earlier. So here, after knight takes c6, I'm not sure that knight to g3 is a correct way. I guess it makes sense to do something like knight h2, the kind of typical idea. So to bring the knight to g4, to try to exchange my knight f6, and to fight for d5 square. And if I play knight a5, okay, bishop goes to c2. But the point is that this knight f1 should go to e3, and then at some point to d5. That is the main plan in such a pawn structure. Because when you place your knight on g3, it does not that much there. You actually try to activate another one through e3, but you were quite slow after that. So I played this, knight e2, rook to c8, bishop here. I could have played, for example, queen b6 here, was very promising, I guess. And then b4, and I kind of start my play, typical one, and white is still not developed. In my opinion, that is quite annoying. So knight c4 actually helped you a bit. But even after that, I think black has no problems at very least. Okay. So, let's go further. One more game against a guy we never played before. And here is Morazu from Mexico. Accept. Here we go. e4. c6, come on. Shelling is here as well. Probably Morazu is well prepared. Most likely, he was watching the series that was actually prepared by Schelling. Another great asset, by the way, guys. And premium users can access it for free, which is cool. All right. Queen to c7. All right, let's go here. Since I don't know the theory here, I'm just playing random moves, which on the other hand still makes sense. Alright, so g3 looks like a waste of time, right? So let's play g4. Let's go for attack. Oh. I guess that is not what Lucas recommended for sure. Rook d8. Alright, so can I play g5 right now? Takes g5, knight g5, rook takes d4. Maybe it makes sense for me to start with something like, I don't know, bishop e3. Maybe queen to e4. But g5 is so tempting, actually. Maybe I can just take... No, I can't take with the bishop there. So let's just play this move. And now g5. But still, there is check on f4. Don't like this possibility. I know I'm just wasting the time, because black is ready to play c5. g5 takes, knight g5, knight g5, bishop g5, bishop g5, rook g5, queen f4, queen e3, takes. f6, rook g6, rook to 7th rank, rook to g1, king to f8, or h7 probably. h6 takes, rook f6. Is it a promising rook ending or not? Have no idea. Let's check. And now please in slow motion for the weaker ones. We have this position on the board. Not actually the whole line, but I guess queen f4 should be played. Otherwise, I'll just save queens on the board. So queen f4, queen e3, takes. Then my next plan is just rook to g1. Okay. Now I want to play rook g1. Now rook d5 is a great option. It's much better than trying to protect g7 passively. Honestly. Yeah, that is what I missed. Okay. Let's go there. Of course, with only one rook on the board, I'll have even a worse ending, I guess. Because this pawn on h5 is kind of very weak, very vulnerable. Alright, let's use some tempi. And maybe grab some space. So I have to activate my king as soon as possible. Right now, I guess. What could be my plan? So black's king probably goes to h6. He's probably going to h6. My king can go to b6, of course, attacking that b7. But is it really promising? Absolutely not sure. On the other hand, I can try something like e4, then at some point c4 and d5, just creating a pass pawn. Let's do it. Oh, g6, okay. I'll take. I actually expected that black will attack that pawn. But this is also not that bad, honestly. This is also not that bad. Right, what is about this? Correct. King e3 was just a bullshit. Oh my god. Now you see that my week was really hard. I'm playing very badly. Alright. So what to do here? Let's try to fix that pawns somehow. So basically, what I want to achieve here is some chances against b7 pawn. Will be very hard, in fact. But who knows, maybe I will be lucky. And my opponent will give me some chances. Okay, let's blockade it finally. Alright, so b7 is an object of attack. Now the rook protects c3, but I still can't see a good plan. Still can't see a good plan for me. So I can probably bring my king to... Okay, he starts playing. He starts playing now. Okay, let's take. Rook to e5. I guess it's possible. Yeah, for rook e1, I just play king to f4. Alright, now I can do what? I can do this. Well, I'm not sure, but... yeah. Alright. Yeah, it's winning. Okay, so somehow I managed to do that. Very interesting thing that when black played this king to e7, king g6 doesn't help because I play king e5 now. Very instructive moment, by the way. If king goes to g5, I just play d6 and I win the promotion race because now my pawn promotes with check. So f4, d7, f3, d8, and I'm much faster, of course. But anyway, very pleasant fact. So exchanging rooks was absolutely wrong here, and actually giving me all this activity was also quite generous. I think black could have played this f5 match earlier or something like that. And of course, well, I'm not a big expert, so you should ask Lucas Winterberg about all this technicalities, but I don't think that if you want to play with castling short, you should bring the queen to c7. I guess it's a very strange mix of ideas. So when the queen goes to c7, as far as I understand, black usually intends castling long. So if you castle short, probably the better place for a queen is somewhere in b6. Alright, in any case, I just misplayed it at some point and black had good chances. Okay, so that was the third game, if I'm not mistaken. So now let's go back to normal order of challenges, and Chase Paul is the next guy. Let's play. Rook e1 would have one rook for black? No. The rook was on e5 and was protected by the pawn. And yeah, I could have played king f4. Oh, you mean when I played rook e7? Oh god. Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right. Oh goodness. Yeah. Such a shame. Yeah, but fortunately black also missed that as well. Okay, let's forget about it. The plan was correct in general. But the way I played, of course, most likely I missed a lot. Alright, so here, if I'm not mistaken, I can take on e4. Excuse me. And this interesting line, which forces white to take on e7. And my opponent is kind of thinking, probably he doesn't know that. Castles. Alright, now again, if I'm not mistaken, the knight comes back to f6. So the point that I have a bishop against the knight, and slightly better pawn structure because I have two groups of pawns, white has three ones, so-called pawn islands. Alright, this is not very dangerous. Just protect f7. Manageable problem, I guess. So h6 now. And d6. Bishop d7. Covering b5 square. And now it's time to activate my rook a8. Rook e3. Let's go. It's time to activate the rook a8. The wrong rook, I think, should be exchanged, just to prevent rook e7 or something. And now this one will get to play through a6, I hope. Knight e4. I have an interesting choice between taking on e4 or playing on d5 with the knight. d5 is also a good square. And after knight takes e4, I'm afraid that white will have very easy plan of attacking my pawns there. So this g7 looks vulnerable. On the other hand, once the rook goes to, let's say, g4, I play g5, h4, something like bishop h5 or bishop d7 is possible. So knight takes e4 is also absolutely playable for black here. Absolutely playable. I don't know which one to choose. If I play knight e5, then knight through g3 goes to f5. Also potentially somewhat unpleasant. Alright, let's check this one. I still think I'm fine. So for rook g4, just play g5. So what? h4, just bishop d7. Should be okay. Now where? To a5, I think. That was the idea behind a5, a4, to activate the rook this way. And here's my target on b2, waiting for me. Okay, this gives me a chance to play bishop h5. I think it will be not a bad idea to exchange the knight this way, just damaging the pawn structure completely. If rook goes to e3 now, I just play rook b5. This should be very annoying position for white in general. Now it's a question how to attack these pawns. I think straightforwardly, like rook b5. First, just stopping the rook here for some time. Now let's bring the king. So what is with my technique? Is it good or bad? So let's start with the c6. I think multi-purpose move, controlling d5 square. h4. All right, let's go here. Now, king d5, king goes to f5. I don't like it. Let's play g6 instead. Probably just this. And this one, very important. I guess king g3 was the only move. And king to f5, right? Already winning something. Maybe not that quickly as I want. This d6 is kinda hanging, but I can get there, so you know how to play this correctly. My technique isn't ideal, honestly, so let's play this. Okay, I think that rook takes d6 was the only chance. And I can play this one. Fixing this weakness on d4 as well. f3. Okay, king f4. Looks very natural. Now takes with check. No, it should be over. Somehow. There will be only one on h4, I can predict. But I have to stop it, that is my only problem. So. That should be just good enough. I have a lot of pawns. That's why I decided not to even touch those. Yeah, not the perfect technique. Now I definitely have some technical problems. This famous ending with like, I don't know, A and C pawns. By the way, it's already a stalemate. Rook d1 makes a draw. Oh my god, that was so bad. I mean, it was so winning, but at some point I started making very, very stupid moves where it started, so that was alright. Yeah, most likely this was the start of my really problems. So why not king c3? Just supporting my pawns with the king, right? And actually winning the game easily, just promoting my pawns. There are so many pawns. Like I can still play this rook h6, just stopping the pawn here on h5, not allowing white even moving that. And then just d4, c4, d3. Oh my god. At some point, b4, a3, a2, a1. What a shame to play such a great game before that and actually to spoil everything by the end. The story of my life in Blitz. Okay. Thanks for the game. Let's go further. Graf von Pollen. Accept. Playing with black, so something sharp is expected. Okay. What happened? It's Queen's Gambit. Strange. I guess castling was also possible even without taking on c5. But alright. How this happened? How this happened that I play Queen's Gambit accepted? What's wrong with me? Why did I play d5? That is strange. Really strange. I think black is very close to a good position. But maybe it's still not good enough to equalize. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do after simple bishop h4. Maybe I'll just play bishop e5, actually, stopping that pawn. Yeah, I guess it's an interesting idea. So preventing all this nonsense connected with the e5. And if f4, I guess I'm just hoping for the fact I didn't miss anything, but queen b6 looks interesting. So the point is that if bishop f2, I just play bishop d4, just like this. And e5, I think, is not necessarily dangerous. So we'll start with this. Take here. Okay. And again, the ending. But this time, I still have the time on the clock. Alright, let's bring the knight to e3. Exerting some pressure on g2. And I actually wanted to place it here on f5. So at the moment, my bishop, despite my pawns are mainly on light squares, looks slightly better than that one on a2. That one on a2 does nothing at all. My bishop goes to b1. So probably Graf is just listening to what I'm talking here. Yeah. Boring position. Boring. Yeah, now I can forget about anything connected with playing for sort of advantage. Now I have to focus on making a draw. Fantastic. Just fantastic misplaying. Oh. So can I try this? I know it's double-edged, but what can I do? Otherwise, position is just, as I said before, very boring to start with. But not only that. Now I have some ideas. This knight on h4 is, of course, just very bad. On the other hand, I create some threats to that g2, so maybe this gives me some chances, maybe not. It was a strange decision. I thought white would play something like king f2, centralizing the king. Now white definitely has some problems. So I can grab g2 at least. So after this, I guess rook c2 will be the accurate way of doing it. Because after knight takes f10, there is no checkmate, right? No checkmate, so I can go there. For this g2, rook f4 was dubious because of g3. Probably also playable, but most likely it would have been just a blunder. Rook c2 looks great, just a penetration, and I can collect some pawns, which is always nice. Now f7 is under attack. Well, I can do rook takes h2. Rook takes b2. A lot of interesting moves. Which one is correct? That's the question. I guess rook g4 is correct. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think f4 is a very important pawn to capture. To take the central one or not to take the central one? Have no time to think about it. Okay, let's say this one then. So bad technique again. But this is kind of a mutual problem, I guess. All right, let's go. Okay, eventually won the game. So somewhere here, I think, well, the game was even. I think I could have done the same without playing h6. I mean, the same idea. Just a second. Let me come back to that position. So bishop, yeah, immediately bishop e5 was, in my opinion, better than h6 first. Because now if f4, then I can play queen b6 check. After king goes away, I can take on c3 and take on e4. That was basically the idea behind this maneuver, so to force this f4. Because I can't take on c3, I can't take on e4 after that because my knight is pinned, and this f4 gives me a chance to bring my queen to b6 with check, so to win a tempo. So probably bishop e5 deserved attention here, with some ideas. like that. So if rook d1, that is probably the critical moment. I can most likely try queen c7 attack in h2, and knight on c3 is still under attack. But what's interesting here is that probably I can even ignore it and just play rook c1. If I take on h2, king h1, my bishop on h2 is under pressure, my knight on f6 is under pressure, there is a threat of knight b5 or knight d5, so it's unclear if I can take that pawn on h2, and if I can't take that pawn on h2, maybe queen c7 is dubious. Maybe the whole idea is dubious, don't know. All right, in the endgame, I think, well, rook d1, rook c4. First of all, rook d1, I guess knight d6 was correct. Just preventing this rook c4, attacking my rook, attacking f7 already, and then centralizing the king, playing g3, and so on. So white should be better. This rook e to d1 gave me a real chance, at least to equalize the position. And here I expect a king f2. So white is not in trouble. If I takes rook c2, just rook d2, let's say. And if I exchange rooks, I think white is better again, because the king is closer to the center, and there is a better access to these weaknesses. So king f2 deserved attention. After I managed to take all that pawns, in fact, everything was already good for black. Of course, there were some flaws with my technique, but as I said before, I had very overwhelming week. So I'm just playing, finding lost very deep resources somewhere there. I'm really surprised that I still can do anything, in fact. So don't judge me so harsh, okay? Grounding students is the next, accept. Black pieces again. Give me white pieces, please. All right, let's play. So what about d5? I've never played that against Kramnik student. I think. I'm not sure. Maybe I already did. All right, so white doesn't occupy the center aggressively with d4, c4, which actually gives me some perspectives. But probably white will play this extremely annoying c3 setup, like saying, show me the plan. All right, let's try to show the plan. Let's go and show the plan. At least pretend we have the plan, because I'm not sure we do. So bishop d5, knight d5, c4, knight f6. Pawn doesn't drop. Bishop d3. Maybe preparing c4. Maybe something else. By the way, I can go to e6 now. Sort of attacking the bishop and then get into f4. But, well, everybody will go back, I think. So I guess it makes sense for me to provoke c4, because in that case there will be the target on d4. a3. Then she weakens b3, which is also kind of achievement for me. Maybe not that great achievement, but still sort of pleasant thing. So let's play this. There's not only the idea of playing knight f4, there is also an idea of just playing c5 now, and then get into b3 square. Bishop d2. All right. So I don't think black has problems here. In fact, I'm already trying to play for a win. I'm always playing for a win, of course, but I mean, feels like I already equalized at very least. That's what I mean. So let's play c5. I don't know, white has definitely some problems with the development here. So why not c5? If c4, then diagonal h8 a1 becomes weak, and the bishop on d3 is still vulnerable, so I can play knight f4. And pawn on d4 will be hanging. So Mick says that Andrey looks beatable today, but there is a wrong spelling. There is Abindre. So maybe Abindre looks beatable. I don't look beatable. All right. c5 is also kind of prophylaxis because white was ready at some point to bring the knight to e5. After c5, I have a pressure against d4. By the way, instead of c5, another interesting move was queen to b6 attacking b2. In which case, I think white would have played something like bishop c1, protecting b2 or something. Okay, bishop b5, attacking a4. c4 is still not that dangerous, I think, for me, because, well, it will be very hard to protect d4 after that. But anyway, I just want to start with this, creating an isolated pawn, at the very least. Or maybe just grabbing that pawn, I don't know. With cd4, I just take with the knight. Knight takes, bishop takes. Everything is hanging there. But there are so many other interesting moves for black, like queen b6 now. Bishop a4, I just take on b2. Looks bad for white. Simple bishop to d7 looks great. Also, like, continuing development. Getting rid of the wrong bishop. So what to play? What to choose? Which one is better? Nice option, queen b6, bishop c4. In that case, if I take on b2, bishop d5, takes a1, bishop c3, traps the queen. Have to be careful. Okay. I guess I'll just take here, which is probably not correct. Not the best move, but after all, I'm not sure which was better than that. Knight c3, bishop c3, bishop f2, king f2, queen b6, queen d4, queen b5, queen g7, checkmate. Very nice. Alright. So probably I'll just take and go into g7, simply. Extra pawn, right? Okay, I think it's worse doing rook takes a4 and queen takes d2. These bishops look very promising. These bishops look very promising. Let's break the connection. Another blunder. Sorry, sorry. Yeah, I actually got very pleasant position right from the start. So if you want to fight for advantage, you have to grab the space. So just play d4, c4 with the pawn as soon as possible, knight c3, because if you don't attack me in the center, I just get very solid setup, I think. So here I already liked my position. I guess a4 deserved attention. Bishop d3 looks like a waste of time, and bishop doesn't have any sort of work on that diagonal b1 h7. So I guess this bishop d3 is the first step in the wrong direction. This a3 the second one. So now after c5 black is better, simply. When bishop f2 would have won a pawn. I actually discussed that line there. So you mean after b takes c3. Alright, let's have a look. So knight c3, bc3. Bishop takes f2. King takes f2, queen b6. Bishop to... Well, I don't know. In general, this looks slightly risky. So takes here something like bishop h6, if I'm not mistaken. There are no checks at the moment. So the rook has to go here. And now something like rook takes e7, maybe even. No, rook e7 doesn't work. Rook e7 doesn't work. But something like queen d4, maybe. Okay, black should be winning, of course, after something like e5 or even f6. Yeah, it was possible, but I just didn't want to give white any sort of counterplay. I saw that after simple solid bishop g7, I'm already a pawn up and have good chances. So I just didn't want to give my opponent any possibility to actually come up with a counterattack. And we already know that with opposite covered bishops, it is possible. So, don't know. Maybe it was good idea. After bishop takes c3, for example, here. Yeah. It's not possible for sure. So this is a blunder that I actually saw. So queen here, queen d4. Very annoying move, just creating a threat of this checkmate. And if I take on b5, then queen g7, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go further. Who's next? Big Boy G 2015. Accept. Finally, white pieces. Great. e4. d5 as well. All right, let's play that. So c6 to start with. Let's prevent bishop g4. I mean, why not? Yeah, I like this bishop on c8. Being limited with own pawns. Okay, now what to do? Bishop to d3, I think, is better square than on c4 in this particular case. Then just castling. Bringing the knight to e5 at the proper moment. Or maybe just play knight e2 c4. Why not? Yeah. Knight e7. Alright, so I think this deserves attention, right? So knight e2. Not exchanging pieces because I need attacking resources. Preparing bishop f4. At the same time preparing c4. Like this, grabbing the space. It looks nice. So more space, better situation in the center. This passive bishop on c8. Very promising position. So let's come back to c3. The mission was complete. I just played knight e2 to play c4 and bishop f4 since both are there. The one on f4 and now the one on c4. It's time to come back to better square. Knight g3 was another option. And now the typical plan is to play c5 at some point. I will start with the a3 move. So the idea behind c5 is to create this great hole on d6, to give up d5 square, but to bring the knight to d6 at some point. Queen b6, again, looks like a waste of time slightly. So I can do different things like knight to a4, forcing the queen back, but, well, I don't think the position of the queen on b6 is anything dangerous to me, so most likely I can just play queen c2, protecting b2 pawn. Oh, g5. No, it can't be good. It can't be good. I'll just go away. So it's a great weakening of the position. The king is still in the center, by the way, so another good plan for me is just to play rook e1 and d5 and just open up a position. After this g5, I'm not sure where the king goes to hide. We'll see. We will see. So now d5 is prepared perfectly. Almost perfectly. We'll see. Maybe I will just bring the rook to e1 first. And then, yeah. Yeah, very pleasant position for white. And surprisingly, I have more time than my opponent on the clock. Also very good. Okay, he's going to play knight f4, 100%. Maybe g4 as well. Both look quite normal for black in this situation, so just a natural follow-up. Knight to e4 looks great, just intended to play knight d6 or something. But I think d5 should be played. It's time to open up a position. cd5. Okay. This is great. Let's take. So now the c file is open. Which is definitely additional attacking possibility for me. And doesn't really help black. And b5 square is now... Oh, I wanted to say a lot of different things about this b5. Actually say nothing. So that's what I mean. So bishop can go to b5. Bishop b5 check is possible now. Looks very cool. Yeah, this position is just a dream. It's just a dream. I guess it was 100% necessary for black to play something like knight f4 at some point. Now it feels like very simple play for me. Very, very simple. Like bring rooks to the center and it's over. Like rook e1 and so forth. Don G, hello. I think you didn't miss a lot. But anyway, thank you for coming and calling this your favorite show. That's really nice. So now, there are so many different interests and moves, including even queen to h7. But if I play queen to h7, there is knight f6. I can win that pawn on h6, but is it about pawns? Of course, no. So let's just play rook e1. And rook to d1, just centralizing everything here. It's absolutely lost for black. Now something like knight d5 should finish the game. E takes d5, queen to h7, attacking the rook and the bishop on e7. Rook g7, queen to h8, king d7. Rook takes d5, check. King goes to c6. Queen takes c8, king takes d5. I'm not sure it is the best line and the best opportunity. Yeah, maybe I should start with the knight e5 check there. So knight e5, e5, queen h7, rook g7, check h8, king d7, knight e5 check, where the king goes. Not sure. Let's try it. Of course, it's possible to win it any way you want. But my idea was like this. So queen h7, rook g7, check. King goes to d7. Now I wanted to play rook d5 first, but then saw that after king c6 the things are not that simple. Maybe it's still a checkmate somewhere here. So say rook e5 or rook d1. Rook d1 is probably a move here, forcing the king to c4. Because if the king goes to e4, there is rook d4 checkmate already. So that is the only move. That is almost a checkmate, but still not that clear. Okay, queen g4 is always possible, of course, just regaining the material and continuing the attack and so on. So, yeah, I should be winning. Knight e5 is also a move, another resource. I think this is the best option. So if king goes to diagonal h2 b8, I have a discovery. Like knight c4, it's very, very least. If king goes to e6, I take the rook. Yeah, this is the best. All right. So what was wrong with black's play? Almost everything right from the start. So a lot of tempo losing moves, like this one, and then at some point back to b6. But of course g5, well, that is not good. So it was necessary to castle and to try to complete the development, but actually opening up a position like that when you're not developed and your king is still in the center usually just guarantees big trouble. That is what happened actually. So, let's go further. Here is the drunken lawyer, except. And the next is Shalim, that will be right. I have no words to describe that because I'm really tired. And he's really strong, so we will try to survive it at least. So, this Scotch for knights. Alright. Really hard to achieve anything with black because usually white is slightly better in this situation, I think. But anyway, let's try to do something. 92 immediately. Alright. Also playable thing. Also playable thing. So b2 is under attack. Can I play something like bishop g4 now? I don't think it gives me anything, so let's just take here. At least knight doesn't go to d4. Is that the achievement? Probably a slight one, don't know. Let's attack now the a2 and control e1. And maybe prepare bishop to a6 at some point. Knight to h5. Alright, I can't play bishop g4 obviously, but I can simply take. And probably h6 is possible, of course, but I guess g6 is kind of tempo move. That's why I prefer exactly this one, although it is incorrect from the positional point of view, because I put pawns on light squares having the light square bishop. That is completely wrong. But I have some ideas of grabbing the material. Don G says stream glitch for me. Oh my god, it started again. Now I think I can take on a2, so that was actually why I did all this. So let's do it. Oh, nice trick. If I take on b2, there is rook a1. Trapping the queen. So let's go away. I wanted to say let's run away, not go away. h5. So now I have a choice between bishop g4 followed by bishop h5. In which case, I take some risks, of course, of losing that bishop. Or just queen g4. I think queen g4 is slightly better than bishop g4. Okay. Stream is more or less fine, I guess. Great. Because after the last training Tuesday, I'm really worrying about that. Because I still don't know what was the reason. So extra pawn, only one on a7, which is not very cool, but it is extra. Let's try to utilize it. So now, how to convert it correctly? Let us start with, I guess, rook b7 move, just protecting the 7th rank. Rook a1. Now I wanted to do this. Yeah. Bishop is hanging, that's important. Let's go to d7. Now I wanted to try this. No, it's just wrong. I mean, I misplayed it. Yeah, rook b7 was probably a mistake. Oh my gosh. It's hard. It's hard. But well, maybe I have some chances here. Yeah, like, I definitely have some chances. Especially after king c3, so it's just a great help. Or maybe it's okay, I don't know. Bishop b5 looks like a multi-purpose move, supporting d3 and stopping a5. It's Vihozek's answering your question, not yet. But it's almost there. I mean, you will know about all the plans very soon. All right, let's just take it. Oh my goodness. All right. I don't know what to do here, how to play that correctly. My brain just stopped working. I mean, centralization. Bringing the king back to life. Alright, I don't know what to do here. How to win this? Oh shit, what did I do? What am I doing, huh? Yeah, that's amazing. Oh my goodness, that's lost now. Oh man, that's amazing. I mean, that's fantastic. Bishop a2, the move of the year. I mean, stupid move of the year. What a shame. All right, so just bishop b2, just play bishop b2. And bring the bishop to e4 gradually. What a stupid moron. Played this game with black, huh? That was me, can you imagine? Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard. I'm so sorry for that. That is really shameful. All right. In any case, let's go further. But first, let's try to understand what was the main reason of White's complications here. So I think that here, after g6, it was necessary to do something like queen e5, because it was a tempo move attacking the rook. I had no time to take an a2. That's the point. So I have to develop my bishop, most likely, somehow, and White has a chance to protect the pawn, and White has a better position. Great, gorgeous queen on e5, which is probably not for a long time, but still. And a better bishop at the moment, because my bishop is definitely very limited, better pawn structure, and so on. So position should be more or less balanced, I believe. But still, white is doing well here. Okay. Shelling Fort, accept. White pieces. Let's just play chess. I mean, don't want to play anything specific. So it's like reversed Benoni, potentially something like Volga Gambit, or also, I mean, reversed. How that usually played. So let's go here. Queen c7. Okay, let's bring the knight to e4, attacking c5. Now I think it's a good moment to counter-attack in the center to undermine this d4. Otherwise, it's a great chance just to suffocate in this position. And this is an ambitious move. So will he play h6, g5? That's an interesting question. Maybe he will. All right, let's take here first. I mean, I'm not against to give up one of these stupid knights. Of course, it will be nice to bring the queen to h5 with check, but it's not realistic, I guess. Okay, so my only problem, my single problem in this position is, of course, my knight on h3. So maybe it's just a good idea to sacrifice it, but I'm not sure which way is better. So I'll start with the rook e1, kind of asking black to play g4. And then we will see what to do. Very interesting position, full of tactics, full of weaknesses for both sides. I can see several weaknesses like e6 square, f7, g6, h5. Will be nice to bring my queen somewhere there. Okay, bishop b7, so now e6 is definitely accessible, which is very cool. I can take on g5. Knight g5, h takes g5, knight takes g5, and then bring my knight to e6. It's very tempting. You can't even imagine how tempting it is. On the other hand, I can imagine that something simple like Queen e2 should be also very good. Or even Queen a4, pinning the knight. Don't know. Really, I don't know what to do here. So, a lot of tempting opportunities. Let's take on g5, come on. Let's take on g5. So now there is a threat of knight e6. I have 2 pawns. Knight d8 is a very solid move. Alright, let's bring the bishop with the temple to the game. Queen a4 check. Looks like an opportunity. Or bishop d5, by the way, when the queen goes away, I mean. Yeah, so like bishop d5 now. Also looks very interesting resource. Opening up some files, bringing another piece to attack. Again, I'm not sure I'm playing the best moves here. But looks very tempting. I mean, bishop d5, cd5 with the idea of d6. Rook c1, and so on. Yeah. Queen d7. Okay, now what? There should be something clever like, I don't know, queen f3 maybe. Queen b3, another candidate move, attacking b6. But after queen f3, I kind of want to play d6. So I basically stop black from doing what? From playing knight f6, I think. Okay, let's do this. And now I'm closer to this f5 pawn, which can be also my target. So now how to play this? That's an interesting question. Just d6 looks playable. No questions. Or h4, waiting for black's move. Or maybe even rook e2, preparing rook to e1. I guess this is an interesting option for me. Just to double rooks along the e-file. Because at the moment it feels like e7 is my main target. Okay. Rook c5. That is what I've most likely missed. And that is really annoying. So rook e2 was probably too kind. It was necessary to play something more aggressive. But okay. Maybe we're still good. Maybe we're still fine. We'll find out it now. Only 34 seconds. Crap. Let's bring the rook there. Now let's go all in. Oh. My queen was hanging there. My queen was hanging there. Yeah, of course. This is nice. I was really lucky in this game. Like, very, very lucky. The last pawn. Did I win or not? Congratulations, you won. Oh, it was worse actually playing all these bad games today just to outplay Lucas finally. Of course, I could have played this much better. I guess, well, by the end it was lost for white for sure. But that was a nice trick, look. After queen f5, it's not possible to take here because of queen f7 checkmate. That's a nice pin along the background, right? So, yeah, bishop e5 was probably the wrong move. Most likely it was the wrong move. There was an interesting option even to take on d8 here, you know. Queen d8, queen c6, but it feels like black is still fine. Black is still somehow holding this position. Although I am attacking with 4 pieces, by the way. With all my 4 pieces. But black is still holding. So queen b7 was interesting try. Just attacking the bishop and creating a threat of queen f7. Checkmate. Black probably still can play this knight e7. And now what? Rook d8, queen d8, knight e6. Doesn't look very inspiring to me. Yeah, probably already here I missed my chances. So I have a feeling that this rook e2 was too kind, was not in the spirit of the position. I considered also something like, I don't know, rook to c1 and bishop to e5. But I didn't want to exchange the pieces. Yeah. So, I don't know. Very interesting game. So I think that sacrifice was more or less correct. Because I had great initiative there. But most likely I could have played that without sacrificing anything. So this great weakness on e6 is actually the key to understanding that position. So maybe something like queen a4 should have been played. Just activating the queen, creating a bunch of threats like rook e6. And waiting for black's g4, in which case I can bring my knight to f4 immediately and I don't lose a piece because there is a threat of this, most likely. Not sure, still looks like a sacrifice after that. So here, takes here, and so forth. Yeah, extremely complicated position. In any case, it was nice. All right. Let's probably play the last game. Yeah, probably the last game because I'm almost done. So e4. d4. Central strategy. So, we have a very strange position, kind of mix of different opening lines, of different ideas. Of course, it would be nice to have a pawn on c4 in such a situation, but, well, what can I do? It is on c2. b5. So I can take on c6 now, I guess. But I'm not sure if it gives me anything. So b4, knight goes to d5, knight takes c6. At least it gives me some sort of square in d5. So let's see. And this pawn on b4 looks like a target, so I can even place on like a3 now. But then b takes a3. Come on, let's forget about it. That was stupid idea. I can take on f6 and take on d6, in which case I'm lost after rook d8. Because my rook on d1 is hanging. Okay. So what to do instead? Let's play bishop c4. Just developing the piece, protecting the knight on d5. Then knight e2, knight c1, knight b3 can be a maneuver. No, I can take on f6, take on e6. Then take on d6 even. Winning some material. But I prefer just to complete the development. So to have this knight c1 possibility, to have rook d1 protected, and so on. So completing a development can't be bad. It's always good. You know, it's interesting, all these obvious things are quite important. And many people fail to actually follow these simple recommendations, like complete the development, centralize your pieces, and so on. Like Grandmaster Gennady Kuzmin once said, chess is in fact very simple play. It's all about squares, and you see the weak square, you just move the pieces there. Your task is just to find the best route. Of course, he was joking a bit, but, well, that is partially true. That is so true. We just make the things complicated ourselves. Make the things complicated, I wanted to say. Right, now I think I can take it. No problems with that now. So why didn't I do this earlier? Because I was a bit afraid of b3. Now I don't think b3 gives black anything, in fact. Because I'm ready to meet all these threats with my knight at the very least. But I do believe, well, immediate capture, one move earlier, was also quite good for white. No questions. Right, let's take the pawn. h4, h5 is the one idea. Another one is rook d7, rook g7. The third one is just to play knight c1, knight b3 to start with. Rook d5 is one more. Maybe just queen d5, you know, or even queen b3. Okay, let's just play h4 after all. Let's take this way. Keeping files closed, more or less. Yeah, I guess there is nothing dangerous. The only thing is just to find the correct move after knight c2, because I believe knight c2 is the last chance for black. After knight c2, Feels like I can even play rook to c1. Alright, queen b5. Attacking my knight e2. This is too generous, I think, so knight c3. Winning a lot. Attacking the queen and see rook c3, bc3. It's over. Because my queen on e6 even protects b3 pawn. Alright. Nice. Which pleasure. Of course, rook d6 is a move here. So to be greedy or not to be greedy here. In fact, rook d6 is winning. But okay, let's just take. Simplifying the position completely. Yeah. It's absolutely lost. I mean, I have a lot of extra pawns here and black has no compensation. All right. So, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for being with me. Thanks a lot for being patient. I do hope that from technical point of view, everything was more or less smooth. And I also hope that you learned something new, even after all this strange games I played this night. So as I said before, it was really a hard week, and I was trying my best to actually play some decent games, and well, I managed. I'm really happy finally to find an interesting game against Shellingford, which is nice. But also there were some instructive encounters. I guess the game against Kramnik Student was very instructive, and against Drunken Lawyer as well. I mean, how not to play with black in such a situation. Okay. In any case, I wish you a great weekend. Don't forget to go premium if you want to play against me every Friday, and if you want to get the access to all the great video series here in Chess24. So you can do this actually saving some money, so you can get the 15% off using the voucher code Andrey. And see you all very, very soon. Bye bye.